you here. Whenever you are seeing this is the perfect time for you. This is the perfect message for the eclipse season. So we have first a lunar eclipse in Pisces, and then we have a solar eclipse in Libra, because by that time we're going to be in Libra season right before, well, getting close to Halloween. Halloween is actually in Scorpio season, kind of towards the mid-beginning of that. And we right now are at the tail end of Virgo season, and that is where this first eclipse is going to take place. And so this is really about getting it together, seeing where you have maybe not, been getting it together all the way, and that's probably going to become really apparent to you if it hasn't already. And just, it's really important, as always, to really love yourself during this time and not be, harsh on yourself or expect the worst or something like that, because you really, a happy outcome does depend on a happy mindset. And happiness is not, something you can fake. My cards are falling. But it is something that you can cultivate. And so it's, really based on that joy and that peace, that foundation of that. So yeah, it's really going to be a time of magic, but maybe not magic in terms of like, oh, magical, how fun, more like you are kind of being tested on your wizardry, so to speak, your, alchemical ability to transmute what isn't working so well for you into something actually positive that is an asset for you. And, so that's like Pisces energy right there is very creative energy, but it's also that ability to transmute that. That's why, like, you see so much of that, like, iridescence, I think, as it relates to Pisces, and, so that, like, kind of really gentle rainbow color touch to things, because it's the last sign of the zodiac, and it's about everything melding together to create something new. That also relates to, like, the temperance card in the tarot deck, and really, that back and forth energy of like creating again something from really purifying it, and that metal, that like perfect metal that you want coming to be, for like your jewelry or whatever. It's pure, it's really divine. And in order for that to happen, yeah, you do have to really fully transmute that thing in your life that maybe has been a block, and maybe it's becoming very apparent because the ways that you have approached it in the past have been kind of like a band-aid. And if you are really, dedicated to the twin flame path, or you're like just, on your way, then you have to let these things that are like kind of band-aids fall away at some point, because they're not really truly who you are, and they're not attracting your twin flame on a deeper level, even if you are with them. So allowing you to continue to attract your twin flame, you really have to go deeper here. And so you're going to be given more of yourself, but in order to do that, you can't go back, and forth between different kinds of old ways of doing things to keep yourself, your foundation steady, like kind of on sand rather than rock, so you want to build your foundation on the divine strength, something that's real and eternal. So yeah, the first card that we have actually is Problems Resolved. So I did just shuffle these. And this deck is Eternal Crystals by Jade Sky. And one of my favorite decks. So Lapis Lazuli, that's been coming up a lot for me personally lately too, but it does have to do certainly with psychic development, your third eye, and really tuning in to that like royal vibration of your foundation and allowing things to be, just as, exactly as they are, not trying to, not trying to make something, like better than it is or worse than it is, but just being an observer without being overly detached, but just being appropriately detached from your situation so that you can indeed resolve your problems from a place of peace. And this also really, I think, speaks to meditation and meditating in such a way that feels really, uh, again, really peaceful, grounded, and a really nice balance between your third eye chakra and your root chakra, just basically from top to bottom, grounded yet really clearing to your intuition at the same time. And that's going to help you call in new levels of abundance as well. So the next, the next card is Tiger's Eye. Animals, solar plexus chakra. Well, get that card as my cat is being crazy over there, causing chaos. So I think that's pretty funny. It's like every time I try to go live or have a client, it's like half the time she was just napping, and then all of a sudden it's time to go crazy. So, yeah, I guess that's just about loving your reality completely, and making space for all of those things in it that, are seeming to be like kind of out of what you would want your order to look like in your life, but really they're, it's actually a reflection of all the love in your life, because there is more than you're seeing, and there's more responsibility there. And so if you embrace that, rather than deny it or try to control it, then that's funny. You really look like my psychologist. Okay, that's cool. I don't know about that emoji, but hey, whatever. I don't mind that. I almost, became a psychologist myself, to tell you the truth. But I just kept embracing my astrology and creative side in the end, in my Ascension coaching, and I am satisfied with that, But I know that psychology and therapy also has its place for sure. So I think they both go together really well. It's said in good faith. Well, thanks for that. That's cool. I appreciate the conversation, and that's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, and Tiger's Eye really has to do too with power as well. So it's like that power in your reality is sometimes embracing all of the different qualities, and some of them you may not, like they may not be things that you would prefer. Like all the crazy, things that cats or other animals do, Tiger's Eye. But, without that extra element of life in your life, things would also be kind of boring, and there would be like less for you to really, get around. And this could also speak to kids and kids' creativity too. But I think especially animals, or whatever that is in your reality that's really like kind of, it's helping you to be creative, but it's also extra responsibility and love and attention is required there to fully like gain the benefit, if you will, for both you and if it is your animal, or specifically your cat, or unless you have a pet tiger, that'd be crazy. So the next card is Chiastolite, past loved one's root chakra. Well, I can say, like, for me personally, I've definitely been doing a lot of, healing, not just about past loved ones, but maybe like people who are in your family or in your life otherwise, who are like maybe kind of on their way to like, you know, the next thing for them, transitioning. So it can also speak though, yeah, to maybe like your, you know, your elders, your grandparents, great grandparents, things like that. Maybe people who are watching over you, and perhaps even past generations as well. Hi, Destiny. Yeah, I'm doing a collective reading right now, and if you want a personal reading, you can go to the twinflamepsychic.com, which is my website, and you can book a reading with me. And I do serve all time zones, and so I would be happy to do that with you, of course. And I do astrology readings, I do card readings, um, just, you know, a combo. I'm just going to read what you said in case people aren't on the live, because I don't think it always shows up. I'm hesitant to inquire about this stuff due to a Christian upbringing. What is your take on this? Is it conflicting? And love, oh, I love it all. Go where? Are you asking me my website? I don't know. My website is, it should be linked, but it's the twinflamepsychic.com. I know it's a little hard to spell. Sorry, I can't type it in right now. But yeah, so Christian upbringing, I think that, you know, I have worked before in Catholic school. And what I noticed is that my psychic stuff, once it was found out, wasn't super appreciated, to be honest. Oh yeah, no worries, no worries, Destiny. If you need more help, if you can't find it, let me know. I'll like say it again until we figure it out. But I'm also just like, I'm thinking about what you're saying and also what Mind Scramble saying. And so yeah, you know, you have to get past the fact that like if you're okay with like kind of this idea of I guess prophecy and um, have a good night too. Nice to meet you. Yeah, so you just have to like be okay with God coming through people, you know, and not just like God, you know, you have to go to the church to receive God, but like you can also have that, you know, come through. And I think that's actually really important personally. Okay, Kitty, thank you so much for making this live so much more exciting. Um, and yeah, I don't think that the two are separate personally, but of course, like, you know, I mean, you have to make that call for yourself to kind of bridge the gap there. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know like what the leaders of your particular church would say about that. But like, you know, I am a unionist, so I do believe, you know, in the path of twin flame union, and I do think that it is perfectly acceptable to utilize your own intuition as guidance and the intuition of others, because that would just be God coming through other people. And, you know, if you trust that God is coming through your twin flame and loving you, then that also must come through other people as well, but not in the same way where it's like you and your twin flame, you know, because you and your twin flame are, of course, designed to be romantic partners together. So that's its own cool, really cool thing. And that's why there's so much like interest around twin flames and you know, desire to be with your twin flame, because it is that person for you, if you will. So I hope that answers your question, but you're welcome to ask more. So yeah, the past loved ones though, did I fully, so rooting, I think just rooting down into the idea that, yeah, your past loved ones do have your back, you know, God has your back there. And maybe you don't have people in your ancestry that you can really like look up to in any kind of a way, but there is something there for you in that card. And maybe it could be about spirit guides too, or just that you are healing your ancestry. But there's something very positive here, I think, for the Pisces eclipse, because Pisces also definitely has to do with that, like going into the dream state, going into the death state, and onto the other side. Um, You're afraid to be penalized when I've been told is a jealous God. I'd love to know. Yeah, well, you can always do Ascension coaching if you're not sure about an actual reading, which is just like the mirror exercise, and that's just teaching you how to love yourself. And then if you decide, you want to also, so that's one option. You could all, then I can pull some cards if you're okay with that. But also, I just would invite you to rethink that God is jealous or something like that, because that would not be a divine quality. Like, we don't, why would God be jealous? Like, what does God have to be jealous of? God created all of us, so like, I don't believe that's true at all. No, I really don't. And I think that like we are very much allowed to use our psychic gifts, but of course we have to be careful because like, you're tapping into current energy and what's going on, giving advice and so forth. But hey, like any teacher kind of does that, so is that okay? I mean, like I think it's kind of like if you kind of take a step back at how our whole society is set up and what people are kind of allowed to advise and so forth, it's really not that weird. It's just that um, there are, frankly, like a lot of kind of scammy people in the psychic world, but there's a lot of not that as well. There's both. So, and sometimes the people that are actually the ones who end up getting more readings initially is because maybe they're putting themselves out there, but they're really pushy or kind of doing it from a fear-based thing, or really playing off of your jealousy, towards your twin flame or something. So there is kind of a weird vibe, that you have to get past, but that is also how you enter your own intuition within, is getting past that as well. So, don't blame it on the psychic, okay? That's what I would have to say. But yeah, selenite, peace, crown chakra. Yeah, this is just so pretty. Selenite is really very simple but very gorgeous crystal stone, and it's just inviting you into more peace right now because, the energy of this eclipse is intense. Things may or may not be going as you would have hoped or planned. And maybe you're like, oh no, like I really like didn't realize how bad this could be or like whatever. But if you choose peace here, like peace has to be revealed to you in one way or another. And so I think you're going to be very actually like pleased with the outcome of this eclipse season if you just stay the course and don't get freaked out. But of course you have to take care of business. What the meaning of life is. I mean, of course there's like different ways to answer that question, right? But I mean, like love being just experiencing love and joy and happiness. Something you can consider. I pulled this out in the last live, but I'm going to pull it out again. Is A Course in Miracles. I don't know how you feel about that because it's also like channeling, but it does have to do with Christ consciousness. But it really goes over kind of the answer to that question in a pretty nice way. But it's kind of like once you're really with God or ascended, it's like your whole life feels like a miracle because miracles shouldn't really feel like weird or out of place or even like miracles. They should just kind of be like how it is. And so we're really like working through our own blocks, but doing spiritual work itself isn't the meaning of life, but that reveals the meaning to you. And so when you've worked through something and you feel better, then that meaning is revealed to you. And that's why the twin flame journey is also so powerful, because that love is revealed to you as well through your twin flame, and you can choose to accept that or ignore it, be jealous, da 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 da, but it is there. And so that's a great question. Let's pull another card. Amethyst, intuition. I mean, I think it just plays off of everything that we're talking about, that amethyst card, and how again, amethyst is, uh-oh, the power might go out and this live might be over because it went out earlier. It might be the fires here. They're not super close, I don't think, but I'm guessing that's why. I'm in Southern California, just by the way. So, yeah, but amethyst is a very powerful, yet, kind of like humble stone. It's not like so special, but it's like, who doesn't like amethyst? Most people really like it, especially kids really gravitate towards like amethyst and rose quartz and these more kind of like everyday crystals, if you will. And so, it's just like not denying. Oh, cool, you're in Southern California too. A twin flame. Oh, twin flame is like your one true love. So that would be like, your perfect match, if you will. But they're not like, they don't like match you. It's not like, that's not really the vibe. It's just like they're, you and your twin flame together are one consciousness. So it's like that person, if you've ever felt that person or know who it could be or think you do, that would be it. So yeah, like I don't, again, going into Christianity, like I believe Jesus and Mary Magdalene are twin flames, for instance. So yeah, anyways, amethyst, intuition. So intuition, it's like, it's nothing special, right? But it's something that sometimes we take for granted, and it's very powerful. So I think it's inviting you into the power that you already have and to not take your abundance and power and love right now for granted, because if you're experiencing lack or something that you don't like in your reality during this eclipse season, it's probably going to intensify, but it's again just inviting you to embrace the more like mundane, everyday cool things about yourself that you've developed and utilize them more, because like you might be not realizing the assets that you already have right in front of you. And so I think that that's what's coming to the forefront right now. And that's like showing you, revealing who you are to yourself too. And then we have Cinnabar, business, sacral chakra. So yeah, going into business, so to speak, or your life purpose, or just like embracing more of who you are and profiting, if you will, means understanding your gifts and giving them where it's appropriate to, and rooting down more, like just claiming responsibility for yourself, even if things don't seem fair or you don't understand why things are going the way that they're going right now in one way or another. Just, don't go against the flow that's already happening for you. Go with it, explore some of the options maybe from the past and whatever, but also be willing to let go of that, because it could just be bringing up an old pattern for you to finally make peace with, or it could be inviting you into an opportunity. And sometimes you have to knock on those open doors to find out which one actually opens and is the right door for you to step through at this time, for the next level of being with your twin flame, and also living your life purpose, or calling in more abundance, all of these things combined. And abundance, some, like, maybe you're watching this and you're good with your level of abundance in one way, but you could use better health, better wealth, more energy, so it does look different for different people at different times. Maybe you have all those things, but you just don't feel like you have a creative block, and you'd give anything to be able to paint a flower, so what one person has and takes for granted, another person would like, kind of give anything for sometimes. So again, it's really embracing what it is that you do have, and having honest, genuine gratitude for that and appreciation. I think like Abraham Hicks, for instance, says like, appreciation is better than gratitude, because gratitude kind of like means that you're still in a little bit of a like lacking state. So whatever, I mean, like, just as long as you're actually grateful and appreciative of those gifts that you've cultivated and that you've naturally been given, I I think you're going to be in really good shape to make it through not only this first lunar eclipse, but then have that balancing of the energy. So have some of that reflected, or have all of that reflected back to you, what you've been developing, cultivating, what you've been willing to work through and embrace even during this perhaps challenging time. I think that that's going to, yeah, like the scales are going to then tip, you know, for you, because remember, the universe is always rigged in your favor. That's what Rumi says, right? And it's true. So then if something appears to be going against your favor, it must be because it's like, you know, completing some kind of a cycle that is actually for you, perhaps like a bit of a spiritual test, if you will, just to, you know, help you ultimately, to strengthen you and to give you what you're actually calling in. And you have to create space for whatever you're calling in your reality. So I'm going to call it a night for now. I have an early morning tomorrow, and this was a really cool reading. Thanks so much for the questions. I do appreciate them and the commentary. And just remember, whenever you're catching this reading, whether it's live or at any point, it's just like the right time for you to hear the message and to receive whatever, you know, really resonates for you from this. And definitely support my channel if you would like to by liking and subscribing. That always really helps, and it helps the statistics and all that cool stuff. And then if you want your own reading, like you are asking about, or like anyone, yeah, have a wonderful weekend too, then you can go to my website, thetwinflamepsychic.com, and I do serve all time zones. And so usually, like, I'll just invite someone to go ahead and book the session, and then I will find a time, you know, for us to meet over Zoom, unless you order some other, like a reading report or something. So you're invited to just go there and check out what resonates for you, a reading or twin flame ascension coaching. And that's it. That's what I have to offer. And I really enjoyed this. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will catch you again soon. All right, so yeah, really embrace this eclipse season energy. I know I am, and have a great one. Bye.